standing their ground and, doing their own thing to bring succor to everybody, not just the women folk, but the family. You understand? I can't forget Mama Ransom Kuti. In 1947, she led about 10,000 women. So don't joke with women, because if you try it, you will be sorry. You understand? So this, I desire and I demand that the River State governor takes this and make those who are culpable an example to others who are probably cooking it in their minds, because electioneering is around the corner. By next year, literally next year, they'll begin to go up and down and be telling us all of these lies. So before we get to that point, let somebody tell them, like, look, this is not a jungle. We are living in a civilized society. So if you have anything against me, would you please do go about it in a civilized manner and stop jumping up and down like bushmeat?
All right. So, Florence, you were looking at it from the home. You said assault is wrong on all levels, regardless of what the woman, may have done.
Yeah.
But now, your word of advice to women who find themselves in situations like that, because sometimes you see that women get into arguments with, the opposite gender. You even see they will hold the shirt, they will shout, they will say, "You will kill me today, oh, I'm not even. You will kill me today." And even when the person walks out, sometimes she will follow the person, drag and So, what's your word of advice?
I think women should be more careful and should be safety conscious. If I were that woman, I would not have allowed it to escalate to that level, because she needs to be alive to serve. I mean, if she was actually serving. And they say that he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day.
If she was actually serving, I like that.
I don't
That's
know.
our reality.
I'm not sure.
That's our reality.
So when you find yourself in such a situation, your safety first. If she had died, some people were just pushed and they died. If she had died, her husband would become a widower, her children will become motherless, just like that. So I think women should be careful, women should be cautious. We know we're not as strong as the men folk, even though they're not expected to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
But I think every woman owes herself that responsibility to stay safe.
All right.
And to quickly add to that,
Yeah.
every woman, you are beautiful. Your self-esteem, nobody should take it away from you. Having said that, you see, let's talk to the men too. Ogbeni, your muscles are not there to go and hit a woman. It takes a weakling. I will say it and say it again. You see, what I tell some men, I actually was addressing a couple who was fond of beating up his wife. And I told him, I said, look at your stature and you would crush this woman. I said, but if you go to the roads and you see a uniformed, security operative, sometimes some people don't put on uniform, so you don't know that they are who they are. Yeah. But you see him in his uniform and he's carrying an AK-47 or the like. You understand? Yeah. And when you talk about size, it's nothing near you. But because of what he's carrying, you will respect yourself. You'll be saying, "Sir." Even every statement will end with sir, hoping that this man will not get ahead of himself and do something, to you. So, and do something like that to you. So, why do you now, the kind of patience you bring forth when you're in such a situation, how come you forget it?
When dealing with the woman.
Because you feel that, okay, you can do and undo. Because these ones, you are acting upon an instruction.
But now, a father beating his daughter, would you count that as assault? Would you count that as violence? Do you think it starts from there?
There's always a line to be drawn. There's always a line to be drawn.
It depends on the age of the child. A toddler, 5, 6, a little cane here and there, the cane should be commensurate with the offense. But to beat a teenager or an adolescent,
a female, daughter.
Even if it's a male, whether male or female.
No, but since the focus is on abuse, domestic.
Okay, I would think that whatever you need to do as a parent, if you have been diligent and God has helped you, you are not likely going to have a teenager that you still have to raise your hand to hit. Because God forbid, if in defense, if the child also raises his hand, what are you going to say? Mother and child, or father and child now in a fisticuff. So I think once a child, Yoruba people have a saying that that once a child gets to a certain age, you don't hit. Eye contact, eye language. But that will work if you started well. So the child knows your facial expression, the child can interpret your facial expression. But
Okay.
I don't subscribe to
Father
an
hitting his
adult
daughter
child, an adolescent child, a teenager being flogged. I
by
don't
the father.
by the father.
You're actually
I
you're,
don't
you're, you're
subscribe
actually
to.
trying to pull out
No, no, no. I
the
want to
monster,
understand
not
where
you.
okay,
Mm.
I'm talking
okay.
about the
The
parents.
parents,
The
okay.
parents is actually trying to you are on whether knowingly or unknowingly
Mm.
pulling out every human being has a monster somewhere.
Mm.
That is why you see some people say, so this is how you are. Do you understand?
Mm.
So you don't want to go there. Like Florence said, dialogue. Let's talk about this.
Well,
Let's
how is
discuss
the
it.
dialogue thing going to work with every child? What works for A may not work for B. You know, some people talked about different styles of parenting. I think we had one guest on the program one time that talked about the authoritative style. You know, there is a
Authoritarian.
style where you negotiate and do please and things like that. But
Please and give
some
it.
children, the more you do the pleading style, the more you are even, making the matter worse.
That is why, as a parent,
Mm.
you see, you have to take your time to understand your children.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have to, and they are twins, they don't come across the same. Are you getting it? So when you understand the nature of this particular child, you know that, like in my house, I know that some of them, by the time you just say something,
Mm-hmm.
you understand, they will sit right. Some other ones, you have to hap on it and hap on it. You know, there are various ways.
Yeah.
Some
yeah.
children come on saying that don't come into the, maybe, sometimes you're having family gist and all of you are there. And you say, you cannot join us. That is a huge punishment to some children.
Yeah.
So you have to understand your child
Mhm.
and know how best,
How best,
you
yeah.
understand, because it is not a one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are saying that some children, when you talk to them, it's like, okay, when you finish giving your sermon, I will go. I'll go
I'll
to
do
my
what I
room.
want
Do you,
to
do
do,
you
yeah.
understand? So you have to understand your child to know how best to address
To
issues
address
with
them.
them. Yes.
All right, 28 minutes past 9. This is Panorama. Our first topical issue this morning: female legislature leader battered, stripped in Rivers local government crisis. And, we have our guest Florence Oladotu in the studio with us, and also Ibinabo Dixon. I am your host, Kimberly Ubiabo. And Panorama is where we get to have ladies from different geopolitical zones come together to discuss, dissect, disagree, sometimes agree on topical issues. And we've gone over the first topical issue for the morning: female legislature leader battered, stripped in Rivers local government crisis. You can share your thoughts. Call the studio line on 07000 917 917. Now, let's go the next one now, Florence. FRSC kicks off operation Show Your Driver's License. On this issue now, the Federal Road Safety Corps in Lagos State said it would today start the phase 2 of the operation Show Your Driver's License and Vehicle License ahead of the Ember Month's road safety operations. State Sector Commander of FRSC, Corps Commander Olusegun, said this in a statement that was issued by the commander, Olabisi, the FRSC Public Education Officer, yesterday. So FRSC decried the high rate of permanent driver's license unpicked in the states. Yet so many people are driving, and driver's license, they're not picked. Now, according to him, the first phase of the special patrol tag operation Show Your Driver's License showed that some motorists still drive without their valid driver's license, while some don't even have at all. According to him, quoting him further, he said, with the recent increase in vehicular movements as a result of Ember months, there is a need for all drivers to be handy with their driver's license and a valid vehicle paper as the command begins operation Show Your Driver's License and Vehicle License. And also, he admonished all motorists to maintain safe speed, of course, avoid night travels so that they can always enjoy good road experience. All right, Florence, let's hear what you have to say. How come we have so many unpicked driver's license, but then, a lot of traffic jam here and there? Who are we to
Let's
fault?
commend Federal Road Safety Corps
Yeah.
for the fact that there are driver's licenses that are not picked. I remember before I got the current license I have, maybe 5 years back, there were no licenses. What they gave us then was this piece of paper, and that's what you would have. And you go back again 3 months to renew that piece of paper. I mean, that was a national embarrassment. So for Federal Road Safety Corps to have upped their game, and now we have licenses, I commend them. But then that people are not collecting is another twist to the story. I would suggest to Federal Road Safety Corps, the officers, I have an experience with the issuance of vehicle license, where text messages are sent to people. I've received such text messages. Your license is going to expire so time. We look forward to having something like that. maybe something to just, remind people that they need to collect. But then why are they waiting till ember months? There should be a form of enforcement. If I know that I cannot drive without a license, without being, arrested or prosecuted, nobody will tell me to go and collect. So Federal Road Safety Corps, I think they have slacked. They are not enforcing. They shouldn't wait till ember months before this is addressed. Yeah.
All right. So, Buki, let's hear what you have to
Buki?
say. I'm so used to Ibinabo and Buki. That apologies, Ibinabo. Let's hear. We had Buki this morning. Apologies. All right, Ibinabo, go ahead.
No, it's okay. She's my boo-boo, so no problem. Maybe my Yoruba name will be Buki.
Buki, I'm now.
Okay, so yeah, you see, Brian was talking about why Ember Month. You see, it's like it's a virus and it has crawled into everybody. Once after August, everybody, all antennas high. You understand? Like even our road safety corps officials are beginning to, so I should have been driving without license from January to August, but now I can't do that.
Yeah.
And really, 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 if they insist on you as a motorist to have your driver's license, I don't think they will have licenses lying fallow in their offices. So what I would say is that it's a good one. Everybody, if you know that you have gone to do this thing and you're not going to collect, go and collect before they bam you. There was a particular time it was this year, I think about 2-3 months ago, I was going somewhere. So I didn't actually know how to get there. So I said, okay, let's go by bus. I parked somewhere in Ikeja and I went to board the bus. So this bus, because of the traffic on the highway, yes. Yeah. So he dared to go into Alausa to maneuver, whatever, to bus us somewhere. So unfortunately, it was flagged down by LASMA official. So they were doing the back. What is this? Hey, and I was with my son. He was like, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So by the time, and I felt okay. Let me go down and talk to this man. What's going on?
Yeah.
Are you keeping us here? I'm going somewhere. So this man said, "Hey, the man doesn't have a driver's license." And I told him, I said, "Look, I said this man, as you see him, is a regular commercial driver. So don't you have a point where you give out warnings, like, okay, next time we catch you, maybe take down his vehicle number and everything, and then next time you see him without, because he said it was this and that." The man said, don't mind them, he's lying. Most of them don't have. I said, so and you've been allowing it. So what's the problem here? Actually, even the way they were even interacting, it was like he knew the man prior to that day. So you can imagine that sometimes people are supposed to look into this. Yes,
and you're not doing anything.
You're not doing anything. Then suddenly you wake up and then you want to start running after everybody.
Do the commercial drivers even know the driving rules? I think Daniel and I were talking about this on the review one time, where they'll just say, "Yeah, come and learn how to drive." They'll just, put one of the boys there and they'll start teaching them with the bus and everything. Do they know the driving rules? Like, okay, this is even zebra crossing. We're talking about how some people will even just cross,
that is
how literate are some of them to start with. I don't think many of them actually learned driving the way it should be learned.
Yeah.
And it's just a case of, okay, I'm bold, I'm daring, forgetting that lives are at stake.
Yeah.
But I'm aware that the Lagos State has a driving institute, and I know they have been training some drivers, school bus drivers and so on, just to be able to sanitize that sector. I hope and I wish they will extend that to the public sector, where all these downfall drivers can also be, incorporated into that.
Unfortunately, can I go on?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, unfortunately, even in Lagos State, like Florence mentioned, most of these government buses, these BRC buses, I think they pick their drivers from the regular commercial buses. Do you understand? You would see that at the initial, these people, they know what they are doing.
Yeah.
At the initial stage, they would be very civil. When they are driving, they will tend to obey all of the traffic rules. But after some time, you see, if you're on a particular lane and the next lane you have a BRT bus and there is gridlock, they tend to want to harass you. You know, so I'm feeling
Claim
a
right.
particular guy said he will brush my car and then nothing will happen. This is government per se. If you brush this car, I will not only brush you, I will brush your
You're even
supporters.
strong.
Do you understand? Because you cannot
But
just
please, that brings us to what we talked about earlier. You're not supposed to exchange blows.
no. I was. What are you saying? I was no. No, I was saying this. Ask me.
Okay.
The windows were up.
Yeah.
It will just
As
see me
soon as-
moving my mouth. You see,
Yeah.
I definitely, if you don't want dents and scratches on your vehicle,
All
you
right.
cannot be. Not only all the commercial buses, most of them, they are very aggressive
Very
with drivers.
aggressive, yeah.
Yes, so you
So-
cannot just be on the same path with them and try to struggle with them. You will
We'll
come
hear
home
from,
crying.
We'll hear from Mama Gold shortly, and we'll come back to continue the conversation.
If you love us, like us.
And if you don't love us, like us.
It's facebook.com/.
WFM917 if you want to see what we look like.
We slay.
Subscribe to our channel on YouTube.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WFM917.
All right, so eat bread with Mama Gold, and this is letting you know that everybody or almost everybody likes to eat bread. Okay, young or old, rich or poor, student or worker, eating bread is one thing that cuts across all strata of society. Whether it's with eggs or akara, moi moi, or even sandwiches, we all love the taste and satisfaction we get from our very soft, nutritious, and delicious loaves of bread. Bread is one of the most consumed foods in today's busy society. Now, if you look around you, you realize that there are almost as many bakeries as there are streets, all providing different options of taste, variety, size, packaging, etc., just for your delicious loaves of bread. But did you know that bread is not just bread? There is bread, and then there is bread that is baked with Mama Gold flour. Bread baked with Mama Gold flour is fluffy, tasty, nutritious because it's made from high quality wheat inside a world class manufacturing facility. In addition to having the right balance of nutrients to support your body's need, it is also vitamin A fortified. So it supports your vision, immune system, cells, and skin health. Mama Gold flour has also, received numerous recognitions and awards for its consistency, its consistent quality and performance. So now that you know this, be sure that you only eat Mama Gold flour, bread baked with Mama Gold flour. The question now is, how do you know bread that is baked with Mama Gold flour? It's very simple. Whenever you want to buy bread, Mama Gold partner bakeries that have the Mama Gold flour signboard in front. There are several of them located across Lagos and Ogun State. When you buy from these bakeries, you can be sure, very sure, that the bread you are buying is not only soft and tasty, but also contains the right nutrients to support your body's nutritional needs. You may also ask, what if there are no Mama Gold partner bakeries in my area? Then simply ask your bakery whether they are using Mama Gold flour. And if they are, they need to sign up to become a Mama Gold partner bakery just by calling Juliana on 0816 976 2530. Juliana on 0816 976 2530. One of the benefits of becoming a partner bakery is that they get free training on how best to operate their bakery to ensure that they are consistently producing high quality, delicious, and nutritious loaves of bread. So, once again, anytime you want to eat bread, make sure you eat bread that is made with Mama Gold flour. So you are sure the bread is not only soft and delicious, but it also contains the right balance of nutrients to support your body's needs. Mama Gold flour, quality flour for correct bread. Thank me later.
Myself, I am not my past mistakes. I am whole. I am human. I deserve love and will allow myself to be loved. I release all fear, negativity, and pain. I open my heart to positivity, joy, and peace. I am strong. I have survived many things to get to where I am. I forgive all those I've hurt and those that have hurt me. And most importantly, I forgive myself. My voice matters. My opinion counts. I am worthy. I am enough. I am free. I am love. This is my safe space.
Smart, you're the best.
All right, Panorama is still on, and we've talked about a lot this morning. Let me remind you of our lovely guests we have in the studio with us, Ibinabo Dixon and also Florence Olado too. We've gone over the reports of the senior legislature leader that was battered, stripped in Rivers local government crisis, and also FIRS kicking off the operation Show Your Driver's License. Ladies, do you still want to talk about that some more? Or let's move on to this one. I saw a very sad video. Araromi Ilokbo Secondary School in Lagos reportedly sent dozens of students home for coming late. A public school in Lagos reportedly sends the students home for coming late to school. You know, isn't this some form of corporal punishment, if you ask
No,
me? Because
no.
that's just like mental, corporal punishment. All right. But, that's just me trying to put words together. But let's hear from Ibinabo Dixon. Did you see the video? I suppose you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And well, I'm going to bring it from a different perspective. You see, we have to, there are times when you are meting out punishment. You are either, mitigating whatever is happening, or you are actually worsening the situation.
Mhm.
So for all of those students that came late to school, there were many. For me, I feel that it has gotten to a point, looking at what is going on in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And if that's probably, the number of students outside of the school, it was quite a number.
Yeah.
You understand? So there are dangers, when you lock students outside, because you see, some of them cannot go back home. Because of this, they will loiter about. And in everywhere there are idlers, there are layabouts. You understand?
Mhm.
You see that some youths, they were introduced to drugs, abusing drugs
Mhm.
in the course of loitering about. Probably they didn't actually really go to school.
Mm.
They left home, or they didn't go to school, or they were locked out. And for me, I feel the best thing to do, is to, for me, I would allow them come in, but you won't go into the classroom. You will come in and you're going to clean the school. Because you see, no matter how clean the school is, there's always something to clean. You're going to clean the school, you're going to be cleaning the toilets, but I won't lock you out. Because when a child leaves home and goes to school, in the mind of the parent, my child is in the school. So when this child is locked out, do you understand? There's every tendency to want to, wander about. And in wandering, you can run into anything. There are some bros that they'll say, come, help me buy that
Help me
thing.
buy something.
Before you know it, they become your friends. Before you know it, they introduce some things to you.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel they should have allowed them in, but they're not going to the classroom.
Okay.
They are going to clean the compound. I'm going to put them in batches. They will clean the toilet. They will clean it. In fact, the school will be sparkling clean. So having said that, then again, another thing I would like to do too is they will write an essay. Why do you come late to school? After that, then the next question is, what do you think you can do to stop this? Because you see, it's not every time we should punish children. Because this is why we have the problem we have today. You understand? Because we are using one size fits all. Among those children locked out, some of them are probably coming from a very far place. And there are times that you cannot leave your house before 7.
Yeah.
Due to all of these stories of insecurity and everything. So maybe a student that used to leave the house by 6 a.m. so that you don't get late to school will eventually leave the house by 6:30, 7 o'clock. And that will have eaten into some hours or some minutes of your getting to school earlier. You understand? So we should, at this time, you see, we should work with time and season. In this time, I remember that then, in my school, if you come late, they will lock you up. But afterwards, the security man will ask him to open the gate. All of you, those who are late will come in. Then you come and serve your punishment.
How about, before I get your thoughts, Florence, how about a situation where schools drive the students out for unpaid school fees? Do you think that's fair?
That's terrible. That is terrible, because there was I know that I'm an educationist. and I have one. So
Yeah.
I know what it means when parents don't pay school fees. I know what it means when you have to pay your teachers and other, you know,
Your
members
staffs.
of staff. You understand?
Yeah.
But the first responsibility of every school authority is to protect any child that has come into your school, is under your care. You understand? And don't forget that it is not their responsibility to pay school fees. It's the responsibility of their
Parents,
parents or
yeah.
their guardians. So when I drop my child at the school and my child goes in and I've gone to work, the house is locked. Then you now send my child back home because I have not paid school fee. You understand? Who does the child go home to meet?
Yeah.
You understand? So all of these things, whatever it is we are doing, we should look at the aftermath. What is it going to? I mean, be circumspect of every action, no matter how urgent or desperately you are in need of that thing. Always be circumspect. I remember there was a discourse we had on this panorama. Some children were sent home for same reason, school
Yeah.
non-payment of school fees, somewhere in Imo or something, and 2 siblings were crushed to death
Wow.
by a vehicle that went haywire. You understand?
Yeah.
So now, do you know how terrible the news will hit the parents? Because in your mind, you see, every time as a parent in your mind, you are trying to imagine what your child is doing. Okay, my child is in the school. At least it is still past so and
Yeah.
so time.
Yeah.
So they are still in school. So every now and then you are always imagining at what point is your child and everything. So at that point, the parents thought the children were in school, not that they were in the mortuary.
Wow.
How do you
That's
think the
sad.
school proprietors or proprietors will feel that you send these children to their death?
Wow.
It's painful that parents are not paying, but it is better you give a letter
To the
to the parent that,
parents.
please,
Let them stay
until
home.
there is payment, don't let your child come to school.
Mm.
And you put someone at the gate. When they are dropping, no, you can't drop them. Insist they take them back.
What are cases where the children go to school on their own? There's nobody to take them back.
You see, because you don't know what that school has gone. The problem, even the state government is on the case. Do you understand? Do you know what that means? At the end of the day, the school fees from these children will not solve the problem. I'm talking in this capacity because I know what it means.
I
You understand? But
yeah.
then again, I cannot say because of money, I would not be reasonable. And parents too. When your parents comes to when they bring their children to school, they have addresses. Let someone from your office deliver the message to their doorstep. And let us stop sending these children into
Away.
danger. Yes.
All right, Florence, let's hear from you. Same question I asked Binavo, but you can
Two
start from the
questions.
late, yeah.
2 questions now. I should start from
The late coming, the school, the children that would make
Okay, the Araromi school. Yeah. They say punctuality is the soul of business. So disciplinary measure should be meted to instill that discipline. To instill that culture of punctuality. We find out that in our society, a lot of adults have problem keeping to time. They get to work late, they get to meetings late, they get to church late, and the rest of them. So where does this training start if it's going to be a lifestyle thing? It has to start from the school. But I totally agree with Ibinabo that the children shouldn't have been sent outside of the school, not in the days of kidnapping, not in the days of abduction. They should have been allowed in and to do menial jobs, pick trash and the rest of them. When I listened to that video, I heard somebody say, look at these children. They were only late for 30 minutes and they were locked out. 30 minutes in a school system is not just 30 minutes. An average school lesson or lesson period is between, say, 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So when children come late, 30 minutes late, they're already missing like a whole class. The children are missing, the latecomers are missing. They will ultimately drag the other children back because the teacher may have to go over that and the rest of them. So for that number of children, very sizable number of children to be late, it means the school has, maybe they didn't know how better to handle it. It's not a very good signal. So I support what the principal or whoever did. At least let's make a statement that we want this thing to stop. And I hope that after that event, maybe it happened yesterday or day before, I don't know.
I think it was
the number of latecomers will reduce, because some of those children who were, in that situation would adjust themselves. They will find a way to get to school earlier so that they don't have to go through that. And over time, I believe that if the school consistently does that, maybe before the end of the term, they should be able to address that issue, appropriately.
Yes,
How
and
about-
I totally
Okay, that
I
answers for the school fees as well.
The school fees,
Mm.
there are so many angles to look at it. From the point of view of the school owner, from the point of view of the parents, but I want to be an advocate of the children. I've watched children being sent out. I've watched children being called out of assembly.
So embarrassing.
I've watched their facial expressions. Many of them go through this emotional turmoil. You can't put words to what they are feeling. Oh, maybe my parents don't love me. If they love me enough, they will pay.
They will.
They don't understand what parents are going through. Times are hard. Maybe some parents have lost their jobs. They don't
Even
have
your
money.
parents look down on you.
Parents, an average child would think, oh, my parents don't love me. If they love me like XYZ, who is in class or whose fees have been paid, I won't be here. And it borders on their esteem. Before you know it, these children begin to withdraw. These children are shy because children, they laugh at everything.
They'll laugh.
Some of their mates can even laugh at
They'll say,
such a
"Yes,
small
yes,
point.
yes.
So I
Children are
think
brutal.
a school owners
Yeah.
should devise other means, other effective means of collecting their school fees without wounding the emotions of those children. Some of those children may never recover from that trauma.
But aren't the school's owners' emotions also wounded?
Yes,
And
that's
they
why I
also
said
need to-
there are so many angles to it. That's
Yeah.
why I'm taking a position. I'm pleading on behalf of the children. Of course, for an average school owner,
they want to
I know what
find
it means
profit.
when fees are not paid.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, the children have moved to another school. If you want to talk about that, it's a whole lot.
It is
A family of 4 children at your school, you are expecting X naira from them. They are delaying. Before you know it, they are withdrawn. They have gone to another school. Will you go and waylay them in that new school that they have gone to? So it's a whole mess. But like I said, these children, they are minors, and they can't fight for themselves. They can't defend themselves. We should consider them. Consider what they go through, the emotional
So
trauma.
how about the parents just to wrap it up though, because we're almost out of time, but how about the parents also cutting the material according to their size? 'Cause
Exactly.
in a situation where you put your child
Where you cannot
Exactly.
afford.
where you cannot
Exactly.
meet
I
up.
think a lot of parents are not realistic and they are not sincere with themselves. I know that the fees charged in a school do not necessarily, describe the quality
Amount
of that
to,
school or
yes.
the standard of that school.
Yes.
So don't be deceived by, they pay 1 million naira, they pay 2 million naira. Do due diligence before you put your child in any school. Find out what they offer. Do a comparative analysis. Which other school can offer close to this or even better than at a lower fee? If you don't have, for goodness sake, many of us did not go to high fee paying schools, and thank God we didn't turn out badly.
It's even
So
traumatizing.
Parents should know what they can afford. Parents should prioritize. It could be very, very painful for a school owner to hear that a parent has not paid school fees but held a party. That
Went
happens.
to buy lace.
Often.
No, you will hear that.
Often.
Mrs. So just had 50th
Often.
birthday party. School fees
Often.
are not paid.
Exactly.
Or the family traveled abroad, school fees are not paid.
Mm.
So prioritization. So there's a whole
Yeah.
depth.
You are
I
even
think
going too
True.
far. You see some
Okay.
children, they
Okay.
are
We'll
sandals.
just wrap our thoughts with that anyway. And I was going to add that it's even traumatizing. It's beyond just putting the child in an expensive school. There is a standard of living in that, with students in that school. Imagine they go out of the country every holiday, they have a whole, in fact, if possible, they have like 3-course meal for lunch, packed in their lunch box. They have so much going on with them. And then you put the child, you sweat to pay that school fees. You put the child there. The child begins to feel like the lowest in that environment.
You see, on that note, I'm appealing to every state government. You see, I dream of the day private schools will be sweating to compete with government schools. You understand? So it now becomes a thing of choice. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But in the case that when you go to a public school of this day, it's like if not be say money no day, I for not put my picking
To
for this
enter
kind of
federal
school.
school at one point was a very big deal, though. To get the cutoff mark to go to any of the federal government colleges, like a lot of people were not even looking at private schools. I think it's now that the schools are the standard is just dropping by the day.
and
Federal
funnily,
government, Queen's College, King's College, so
Yes.
many of the federal schools were like the eye candy at the time.
so government, but Well, that's federal government school. You need to. We talked about schools
The
yesterday.
states, yeah.
We talked about the dilapidated state of some of their structures, and students will be there learning. We saw the hut
The whole
that was supposed to be
terrible.
a classroom. You understand? So if the governors would look into this
Yeah.
and bring about positive change in that sector, it will be fantastic. And quickly saying this to parents that, you see, consistent discipline is key to reducing defiant behavior. However, you have to apply the right discipline strategy. It is not always one size fits all. I've always had these issues with some parents when we discuss. It is not, you have to be consistent with your discipline. It helps, some children actually have this defiant disorder, but you don't know. Whenever, if you don't say don't touch this thing, they won't touch. But once you say don't touch it, they want to touch. So when you understand the state of their mind, then you have to know how best to handle it. Or else you just kill somebody someday.
All right, so final words, Florence, in 30 seconds, please. We're almost out of time. We're out of time already. We're just borrowing time.
School children should make it a habit to get to school on time. Parents should do the needful, because punctuality is the soul of business. And if they don't start to get that culture now, they will take it into their adult life.
All right, so for me, I take the final words as mine. Thank you so much for coming on the program, ladies. You've been about Dixon and Florence Oladotun. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
We'll do this
us.
again tomorrow. And to you listening on the other end of the radio, thank you for being a part of the program. Panorama will come on air tomorrow, same time, 9 to 10 o'clock, Mondays to Fridays. I am Kimberly Ubiebo. And a special thanks to, of course, the producer, Esther Alaribe, Daniel Adaja. He was on the background making sure that everything runs smoothly. And of course, engineer Cephas. Big shout out to you. Thank you. Until tomorrow, although we still have a lot lined up for your listening pleasure, do stay tuned. Enjoy the rest of the day's broadcast.
To sponsor this program, call the number 0816